There is a door we all come to, one that protects the facts and truths that hold our reality together from that which floats beyond reason and sanity. Once we walk through that door, nothing is ever the same. We can become lost in the abyss of man's imagination, wandering down the long hall into the kind of madness that is dangerously pervasive. Infected with a delirium most foul and contagious until we are all unable to navigate our way back to what is real. It is here where we find absurd conspiracies. Nothing keeps a moment in your life alive like a photo. It captures a part of space-time that you can revisit again and again. And in a way, photography is a lot like time travel, or at the very least, a way to revisit a frozen moment in your time. But ever since its invention, photography has been the ground of hot debate in the realms of science, art, philosophy, and even physics. Mostly how it should be seen. Is it an art or a science? What are we really seeing, and can we trust it? And after all of that, what does it mean to us and our culture? And there are many that believe that what we see in these frozen moments in time does not accurately represent the reality we live in. That the manufacturing of this equipment has been intentionally designed to limit what we capture to better align with what we can really see. And lastly, that these things cannot be trusted as a science when, just like the human memory, they are subject to the interpretations of the viewer. Photographs are just one-dimensional interpretations of a brief moment in time. They never have really been anything else. In the beginning, people had to sit still for up to 10 minutes for one, freezing your life 10 times longer to have a loose representation of human life, which is to say that from the start, photos were manipulated reality, not actual reality. And in those very long sits, there were things that people could see that were very disturbing. Things flying about, strange glimpses of what might be considered things to come. Even double exposure of a person, only to later find out that they had a twin somewhere in the world. In fact, the last picture of President Lincoln showed the path of the bullet that would kill him a week later, bringing many learned people to wonder that by slowing down reality, we could capture space and time on either side of that moment. Or perhaps we were looking into another world. And these people not only offer up the last shot of Lincoln as proof, but others as well. They say that steps were taken once there was enough evidence to eliminate these signs or peeks into the quantum world.
Because the human eye could not see these things that photos could capture, it was classified as artifacts, dust, and other anomalies that were not needed. There was never anyone that investigated them to see if they were real or important. The direction of the industry was to make the photo as close to what the human eye saw, when it was very clear that perhaps these first photos were what our world really looked like, and it was our brains that were taking these simple and disturbing images and converting them into full-color, vivid sights that we experience. Like a form of digital remastering that happened in our heads, instead of letting the photography reveal the world, we limited it to mirror our own personal existence, never asking if that experience was actually realistic.
Still, others wonder if all photography was altered, or if it was just the kind of photography that the general public had access to. There are hundreds of different kinds of photography processes that were invented and proposed between 1839 and the early 1900s, yet most of them were collectively dismissed, disappeared, or purchased by major manufacturers of the day. And then, the new technology was crafted to mirror our limited human vision, rather than showing us the real world. And with these stunning revelations comes the idea that our minds really interpret input of all kinds, and if we are, say, tuned into one channel, then believers say that in the beginning, photography was not fine-tuned to our collective human station, and as such revealed things that governments and leaders wanted to keep from the general public. As we moved outward into space, this fine-tuning became even more important because without it, people could see the solar system as it really was rather than the carefully crafted vision we had been shown. There's a reason that most space photos are grainy and in black and white, and it's not because the tech is bad, it's because that's what we expect. The long-range telescopes see in different spectrums of light to filter out things that does not run consistent with the stories we have been told. And it might not be a bad thing. In fact, if we were to know too much, it might make it impossible to live our lives, enjoy our time, and lastly, perhaps, we were never designed to interact with the universe any other way than the way we do naturally. Yet others say that it is from the point of view of control and preservation of our human way of life that the powers have held back these visions and the true reality visuals. And they do it not to protect us, but to keep us on a leash, dropping breadcrumbs while they secure their spot in the real world. Either way, one thing is for sure. When it comes to this subject, there is more to this than meets the eye.